I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but I put y'all on the hood of the car and took off. And that lasted till I got up to about 45. And then you fell over. And I thought, okay, next step is they're going to wind up going in the road, you know. So that's when I pulled out to take you down. I didn't want to lose you. Didn't have y'all getting any road rash or anything. This carburetor ain't right, I can tell that. And I have the other carburetor that I had on that motor on the stand. Now just as I was putting this in the car, that carburetor did something weird. So I'm going to have to start taking these carburetors apart and fixing them. I've had a few people carburate on the Studebaker carburetor and tell me it ain't right. And I'm like, yeah, I know that ain't right. And I know that they all need a good going over, but I got those kind of skills, so I can do that. I just thought I'd take this out now. Actually we went to see that Tom Brady movie, 80s Brady's, and it's kind of a, you know, it's about a bunch of women that went to the Super Bowl. One of them's got cancer. Maybe I shouldn't have given that part away. And you know, she's wanting to kind of have a big blowout. She sells a car, buys Super Bowl tickets for her friends, and they go to the Super Bowl. And I didn't know it was going to be about the Falcons and the Patriots game, but it was, and that was kind of fun for me because, you know, all my buddies down here, not all of them, but I got a lot of friends down here who are big Falcon fans, and they still ain't got over that game, and I completely get it, you know. Anyway, I put the meatloaf in the oven a while ago, and I timed it for half an hour, and I said, well, half an hour is enough time to take a ride up the road and back. I haven't driven this car a lot since I put the motor in it, and I know that anytime you do something like that, there's a certain amount of time that needs to be spent with it to get everything right. Right now, I got one eye on the temperature gauge, and it's not moving. It should be starting to get hot, and I'm watching to see if it's killed. The other day I was working up on the dash and I touched something. I got a few sparks off the back of the temperature gauge, and I'm thinking, well, that's not good. I'm not even sure that it's supposed to have enough power on the back of it to spark, but it did. That may have killed the gauge right there, and that may have also been what was wrong with this. You know, after we put this motor, we go back a ways. When Josh had this car, he did some rewiring, and then he had a problem with the motor draining and going dead. Well, when I saw a fire jump out of the back of that temperature gauge, I wondered if that's where my fire was going. I can't think of any reason why there should be a hot wire on the back of that hot. There should be just enough hot back there to you know, for that gauge to work. And if there was an additional hot wire back there and I grounded it out, it may have killed the gauge, but it might have also helped me find where the short was. See, we're all the way up here to the store. That gauge hadn't moved. In fact, it hadn't moved since that day. So I am thinking it's probably safe to say that might be a problem. Now I have other temperature gauges. In fact, I got one that I like a lot that is it's a manual, meaning that it works off a cable that's attached to a thermostat that's down in the motor. It doesn't work off an electric sending unit, and that may be what's happened here, is that this one isn't working. Might be a good time to pull it out. I wanted to run that other gauge anyway, but I didn't want to make a big hole in my firewall. But where I don't see that getting hot, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think that gauge is working. I think I've killed it. So that's a good excuse to figure out how to make a hole in the firewall to get that other gauge put in there. Of course, that will mean letting some water out of my radiator, because if I take that temperature gauge sending unit out, then I'm going to lose some water, but that's okay. So aside from all that, just me driving around, this feels pretty good. It feels pretty good going down the road. We're doing 55 miles an hour. Nice drive, easy drive, feels good. I'm happy with it so far. I had noticed the other day that I think I might have a tire that's a little out of balance, but it don't feel too bad right at the moment. So it may be, yeah. So that's fine. You know, I don't have to fix everything, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have to diagnose everything today while my meatloaf's cooking. This is just a ride. I just decided to come out here and take a ride. Now this car ain't as exciting as like when you drive the rat rod, you know, it's making all kind of noise and wind blowing in your face. This is more of a peaceful, quiet car that you can drive like a daily driver. You know, you could put an air conditioner in this, the radio, you know, have a comfortable little ride wherever you wanted to go. I said the other day I could drive this car out to Washington State and visit the system for him Allen. Kind of make up for that trip that he made out here. Of course, I ain't planning to do that, but I ain't ruling it out either. At some time in the future, I might just have to make that trip. So that's something that's in the possibility for the future. But one thing I know now for sure, two things. One is I need to deal with that carburetor, and two, I need to do something about this temperature gauge that is no longer working. So that gives me two things to pay attention to right there, which is good. Not like I need more stuff to work on, but I can. So tomorrow I'm expecting to get a water pump for the boat. I pulled the water pump out of the boat and ordered a new one, and it needed a new housing and a whole bunch of stuff. So according to Amazon, they're supposed to deliver that tomorrow. So it's not going to be here first thing in the morning, so I might go ahead and go to my little exercise class in the morning. And when I get back, it don't take me more than about 20 minutes to pop the lower part of that motor off. If it's there by the time I get back, I can go ahead and put that in there. And if it's not, then I can still go ahead and pull the foot off and have it ready, so when it does come, I can toss it back in there. I got a little bit of a sore back. Well, it's a lot more than a little bit. I got a lot of a sore back. And a lot of that probably came, well, the other day I was picking up a T5 transmission with the bell housing on it by myself, and then later that day I was taking the lower end off that boat motor, that 90 horsepower Yamaha boat motor, and putting it back on there and taking it back off and putting it back on there, and like, yeah, okay. After that I had a sore back, and I thought, well, ain't no wonder you got a sore back. You know, you treat yourself like a John Deere tractor, you're going to get a sore back at your age. Old guy your age shouldn't be lifting boat motors and see my turn signal. Yeah, it's working. Never mind. I started saying my turn signal ain't working neither, but it is working. So I've got some things to sort out, but I will, and I can. I was talking to one of my YouTube friends this morning about, they got this rub on, they call it Poppy's patina or something like that, and you know, they got this rub coat stuff. I kind of look at that and thinking that would be kind of cool if I was to take water, sand this a little bit, smooth it out, and then put some of that on here. That'd be good, and I wouldn't have to paint it. I'm not a painter. In fact, I'm way not a painter. If I was any kind of a painter, it'd be a very bad painter. So yeah, I'm not any kind of good painter at all. I'm not any kind of painter. So anyway, I'll get y'all back home, and we'll put you to rest, and we'll another day when I have time, I'll pop this temperature gauge out, and I'll take up the carburetors I got, and I'll go through them. I'll get a good one that's working right, and I'll put it in there. And tomorrow when my part comes, I'll get that boat motor going. Let's see, that was about 25 minutes or so, and that's about how long I had the timer set for. So it might be a good time for me to go in and look at my meatloaf. You know what they say back in the old days when I was a truck driver, they'd say, keep your powder dry, keep your mic, wanna shoot your cannon, keep your shiny side up, keep your greasy side down, keep your and don't let your meatloaf, something like that. I didn't say it right, but if I was driving a truck and I said that'd sound real cool, but I'm not, and I'm not. So that's it for me. She is idling really fast. I can tell that carburetor needs a slower idle, but I got to get it to run better before I slow the idle down. Yeah, it's still too fast. Okay, thanks for watching. If y'all don't like this video, just write a letter to Waylon War. He lives out there in Washington up on a big snow-covered mountain, and he's just waiting for your comments about my videos. So y'all mail all your comments to him and tell him what you think. And if you don't like me, then say it with feeling. That way it'll give him something to amuse himself with while he's snowed in up on top of the big mountain out there in Washington State. Okay? Okay. Now I'm going to disconnect my battery because, like I said, I had that issue where this thing was drawing power when it shouldn't be. Oh, what a pretty shiny motor I got here. Lovely day today.